What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Jake Gagan Show. My name is Jake Gagan. It is the final day of March, so we had to end this quarter, the first quarter of 2022, and the final day of March off with a bang. We're going to be doing a live AMA with an up-and-coming token, vEmpire. We have the lead dev, Dom. He's going to be joining us here in just a second. It's great to see all of you guys here that are with us live. It's 10 a.m. here in California, and if you're watching this later, shout out to you guys. A very exciting episode, and we might actually have some breaking news coming live on the stream today. So let's go ahead and bring in our guy Dom to the stream. Dom, good morning. Actually, it's good evening to you where you're at, but thanks for joining me here, man, on the stream today.
No problem. Yeah, no, just on the edge, I reckon. 6 o'clock, not quite late afternoon, let's call it.
Absolutely, yeah. It's you're over in is it UK, London? Where are you currently located?
Yeah, just south of London. 45 minutes outside of it, but I always just say London. Just it's so much easier in crypto, isn't it?
Yeah, it's easier, and I always just say near LA when I talk to people overseas and in other countries. But it's great to have you here on the stream. Obviously, we've connected. We met through Mike the Investor. I saw one of your AMAs on his channel, and I've been trying to get into more metaverse tokens, more gaming tokens, and you guys are doing something that I really haven't seen a lot of tokens doing. I think you might be from the future, because it's like, look, a lot of people are hearing about what's going on in Sandbox and all these different Decentralands, but not many people are taking action or understand like the importance of building out land. So the fact that you guys have already built out a community, an ecosystem, and are and have a token associated with it was just very impressive. So I'm excited to take this time. I think we'll probably go for about an hour or so and learn more about your project, learn more about you, and really learn more about the use case and the staking abilities as well.
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of projects sort of flooded into the metaverse and gaming after Facebook rebranded, left to quite a sort of dilution in such a noisy market. And I think this week we're just about doubled from sort of the last couple of weeks. So I think that now that we've had sort of a bit of a downturn, and some of the lesser, more hype chasing protocols have sort of been sort of flushed down, we're starting to get some of the true value come back out. But yeah, speaking of staking pools, I don't know if it is live yet, but it's being deployed right now. Our Ape staking pool for Bored Ape Yacht Club and the Ape Coin. So starting APR on that is 1.5 million%. So if you're one of the first people to stake your ape, then you'll be getting some hefty rewards.
Did you say 1.5 million%?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. 1.5 million% to stake your ape. That's a huge play there. Obviously, if people don't know about ApeCoin, I think you and I are both holders, because we both hold actual apes in the ecosystem. So we're both airdropped it. But let's take a look at the price. So we're able to stake our ape. It's starting at 1.5 million%. Is it going to stay there, or what can we expect to see the price of ape, or the staking for ape, go to in the future?
Well, it's done on block rewards. So the more that's staked into the pool, the reward will drop, the vEMP reward. But with all of our staking pools, they're yield aggregators. So it won't just be vEMP yield. You've also got a yield which will be paid in ape, and that will be after we sort of monetize using the token staked. So, they're going to build their own metaverse. They're building their own game. Once we can start monetizing those, we'll be able to pay back a secondary yield in Ape token. But yeah, I mean, our general yields, they range from I think BNB is currently like 150%, and Starlink is around 5%. Reason why is because we've got 3% of the total supply of Starlink staked onto our platform, so it's a lower yield. But yeah, right now I don't know if it's deployed yet, but it was being deployed when I spoke to my devs last. See if I can see if it's live yet. I know, but if you got your ape handy, then you can be one of the first, and that'll start at 1.5 million. But the more that's put in, it will drop. But with our previous pools, I think BNB, we had over 1,000 BNB staked in the first 24 hours, and wow, the yield still remained above 300%. So it's likely that yeah, if you are quick, you'll enjoy definitely hundreds of percent for a decent amount of time. I'm just
that's insane. And how does it work? So let's say I have my Ape token in my MetaMask, and you guys go live. Like, how can I stake my tokens on your site?
So literally go onto either the website and then click through to the staking app, app.v-empire.io.
Is it right here, staking platform?
Yeah, absolutely. Click on that, and that'll get you right through, and it will come through to the TVL. We got 15.5 million that you can see there, which is only a couple of million underneath our market cap.
Wow.
If you click on worlds, that'll bring up the entire staking platform. Let's see if Ape's on there yet.
Ape, come on, Ape. Nope.
Not yet.
So the ETH APR is 15%. The AXS APR, is that 79% to stake your AXS on your site?
Yeah, and that's just the vEMP yield. At the very bottom, you can see the secondary yield on ETH is 14.16, which is double 2.0 staking. So you're earning both of those. And with AXS, you earn AXS and SLP as well as vEMP. So you've got 3 different yields that's coming down. So yeah, we provide, some great options for exponential growth of interest and profits, because if you stake your ApeCoin into one of our staking pools, you'll earn a yield in vEMP and in the metaverse token staked. So in Ape, in this example, that vEMP you can then stake into our DAO, and then you'll be paid interest on your interest. Once the metaverse token yield starts, you can then restake your metaverse token yield and earn vEMP and more metaverse tokens on your metaverse token. So at every stage of the platform, you are just compounding rewards over and over again for exponential growth of your profits.
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like it's going to be just, compounding your interest. Like you're just earning on top and it just keeps increasing. But some of these rewards are insane, man. Like 33% to stake your Decentraland. Like what is the average staking of Decentraland on other platforms?
I think the only one that was available was just Aave, and that's not a sort of yield that's being paid via emissions or in the actual token. That is purely just for lending it. So you'll be lending it against somebody who wants to borrow it through their sort of decentralized lending platform. But that was only paying sort of like 2-3% at one point. So I think Sand have their own staking option as far as I know, but that's sort of mSand. It's on Polygon chain. Starlink don't at present. Obviously, ETH, your only option is ETH 2.0. Some others will do sort of like Curve will have that, but they don't pay a yield in ETH, which is a cool thing. And we're paying double anybody else as far as I'm aware. There we go. I just had a message that the Ape pool is live. Literally as soon as you click off, but you might need to clear your
cache. Back up. Let's refresh it.
There you got it there.
It looks like it's live. ApeCoin, look at that, 1,000,000%. 1,000,000% to stake right now on the app.vEmpire website. And for those that don't know, if you want to go to v-empire.io. And if you have your Ape coins, you can stake 1,000,000%. That is insane. I've never seen anything like that in my life.
1.6.
1.6, exactly. Almost 2,000,000%.
Yeah, exactly. So whoever is first in there, you're probably tapping at your keyboard right now. You're getting yours in, aren't you?
Yep. Let's see if people are able to. That is insane. 1,000,000%. Well, congratulations on that. What was really the main cause? What really made you want to allow the opportunity to stake Ape on the platform?
Well, it's like with all of our metaverse pools, it seems that, in all of these metaverses and games, as much as, you can jump into Decentraland or you can play the Axie Infinity game, anybody can, but most people don't. Like 99.9% of mana holders will hold them in their wallet or on an exchange and will never have set foot in Decentraland ever. And that's not what the tokens were made for. The tokens are utility tokens. At the end of the day, they have a function, and that's only within Decentraland. So if you take them outside, what are they? They're just another line of code. So if users are holding them on an exchange or in their wallet, then if you stake them with us, we'll pay you a yield in vEMP for doing so, which you can then compound. Oh, there's Mike in the comments.
Yep. Shout out to Mike.
Yeah, so you can then, we'll pay the yield in vEMP for the mana, which you can then compound into the DAO. And then we'll use the tokens you stake to do what they were intended for, to buy and monetize land within. Because if you talk to Decentraland or Sandbox and you ask them the most, biggest annoyance of the protocol, it's always that people just buy and sell land and they flip it, they don't develop it. And that causes like a wasteland. It's not like a city in Decentraland. It's very much more just like open fields. And that's because people aren't building on the plots.
Now, how do you guys come in? Because I know that you've showed me, and we can pull them up in just a second, but you've shown me some of the actual plots of lands that you guys have built out. And like when we sat through the first call that we had and you showed me on Zoom like some of the plots of lands and like kind of ran me through the demo, I was blown away. Because honestly, it's like I understand that the metaverse is coming. I have my Oculus, I kind of play the games, but like to see that, you're going to be able to go into these insane different land pieces that you guys have built out. And I'm pretty sure you have like the 8 wonders of the world or the 7 wonders of the world. And you were walking me through like one of the Coliseums and like, yeah, this is where you're going to be able to host parties. This is where you're going to be able to hang out. And guess what, Jake? We even have a VIP section that you can have where you can be backstage. I was like, what the hell, dude? Like, it's insane what's going to be coming here in the future. But let's talk about that for a second. Like the fact that it's not just buying lands in cool places like Sandbox, Decentraland, and now we're hearing about SHIB, the metaverse, but actually building out these plots of lands.
Yeah, definitely. Like I say, a lot of people moved into the metaverse just after the Facebook rebranding, but we launched back on the 31st of August. So we have ages ahead of any competitor that wants to come in against us. Back when we bought our first ever plot of land in Sandbox, we bought 3x3 estate neighboring the central parcel, which is the best location in all of Sandbox, and it cost us 50K. And now that same plot will be worth $500 to $1 million. That's how early we were. And we have 5 of those and a 6x6 estate, which is 4 times the size and the volume. So I think our Sandbox performance by lowest floor was over 2,000% annualized. And then the residential areas at the beginning of that one, which is essentially what this is 7 wonders of the world, and it's all stitched together. So in the center of all the 7 wonders, you've got this, which is the vEmpire Residence Club. So you can buy one of those houses, and every single thing you see in there is an NFT. So all of the people, every block, every plant, it's all built in Voxel's assets. So they can all be sold on the Sandbox marketplace. And you can own your own house in the center of the 7 wonders of the ancient world.
And how do I access it? Like I put on my my Oculus and I just pop in and I'm in and I have my house there?
So this will be published on, at present, because Sandbox isn't open officially, you can jump into our vEmpire Rome on the Sandbox Game Maker. So you just got to download the Sandbox Game Maker and you can visit and jump into ancient Rome right now. This is still in development. This is the individual wonders. Sandbox doesn't yet have the capacity to load a full 6x6 because of, you can tell by the size of just one of these how big a 6. This is on a 2x2, what you're seeing right now. So imagine, now I'm having to do maths, but what, 36? So imagine 9 times the size of that is how big a 6x6 is. So the actual processing power just isn't up to scratch yet. That's why you only have the alphas at the moment, because they just can't handle the output yet. So that's what the main factor is going against. But yeah, these aren't published yet in the Game Maker because it can't do a 6x6. But right now, if you go onto Game Maker, you can type in vEmpire Ancient Rome and you can jump into a 3x3. But yeah, you need a very good laptop still to load it up. It's very intensive on the processing power. But yeah, I mean, as well as that, that's the Sandbox assets. We've also got Decentraland. We've got assets in, Starlink, Axie, Treeverse, Swampverse. As soon as SHIB comes out, we had some of our Shiboshis whitelisted, so we'll be able to pick up some lands there.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, because we were so early, we are actually, we have sort of the proof of it. We're not just talking about it. We've got that build, we've got the Ancient Rome build, we've got 3 or 4 in Decentraland and everything else. So yeah, we're way ahead of our competition, and our detail is a lot better as well.
Yeah, you guys are killing it. I mean, like I honestly, that's where the space is going. Like the space is going to be going into the metaverse. I think a lot of people are a little bit behind. Like for me personally, it's like, a lot of the content that I make is about these community tokens and these altcoins because they're hot right now. But everybody knows. I mean, look at Facebook. They changed their name to Meta. There's the metaverse tokens are doing very, very well, but I think you guys are ahead of the game because you're developing land. You already own land. You're going to have nice real estate in all of the top metaverse locations, Decentraland, Sandbox, and then you even mentioned that you have the Shiboshis whitelisted, so you're going to be able to hopefully get a few spots in the SHIB, the metaverse. I want to talk to you about that real quick because that just came out last night. You guys are somehow closely tied to SHIB. I saw Satoshi tweet about you back in the day. I saw Shiba Inu. You guys were listed on the Shiba swap. But tell me about the SHIB, the metaverse. They just announced it last night. I think it's over 500,000 plots of lands, 4 different districts. What was your initial take on the SHIB metaverse that they launched?
Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot to come out in terms of the utility. I think they had 4 different districts that they've named after the breeds, and so the breeds are like the internal mechanism of SHIB. They've got like defense, for example, which is there to fight back against FUD. So it's like how SHIB is run. I mean, yeah, there's still a lot of question marks in terms of the full functionality, but I mean, it looks good in terms of the prices. They're reasonable. There's 4 tiers as far as I'm aware, and I think only the max one is only 1 ETH, which
1 ETH.
I say reasonable. It is for metaverse lands.
1 ETH is, yeah, exactly. I was gonna you see the metaverse lands online, like the guy that bought the plot next to Snoop Dogg, he paid like $500,000 for metaverse lands. But I was excited to see the SHIB metaverse. I think they start at 0.2 ETH, which is what, $600-700 right now. Still pricey for a lot of people, but definitely pretty affordable. What are your takes on this? I mean, is there going to be a lot of competition? I mean, is there going to be one that rules them all? Do you see metaverse winning, Sandbox winning, Decentraland winning, or do you also see it kind of like the cryptocurrency where it's like all of these different metaverses will win and you can collaborate and win together?
It's interesting. It's very much about, I don't know, people love to talk about the open metaverse. And I always say that I always say this anecdote that I think that every time I reach out to a founder who has the open metaverse in his bio, there's 100% extra chance he won't reply to me. Wow. I don't know what it is. People just love to put it in there. In reality, it just doesn't exist. People do not talk to each other as much as they love to make out. And that will cause problems in terms of, interoperability. Cool, that's a hard word to say. Sandbox very much, you can't put Sandbox assets yet into Decentraland. Decentraland at present is the only one that you can jump into, but it doesn't have any real decent gamification features. Like the most complex thing that you can do is like Pong, for example. It just doesn't have what Sandbox has in terms of building within it. But then Sandbox isn't open. It can't handle more than a 2x2 at present and function well. So, I mean, the winners are going to be the people who can push away and sort of get past that competitive edge and try and build something that can mold together. That's sort of what we're all about, is trying to link up the different metaverses because, a lot of the same VCs just investing in everything. I mean, Animoca is just known for investing in it. I mean, some stuff they invest in, like it's not even that good, but if their name is behind it, you know it's going to do well. It's
Yeah.
a self-fulfilling prophecy now. What is going to be really interesting, and I can't wait to see, is in 2 or 3 years where some of these protocols that sort of sailed on the Facebook announcement, where they are, because they've made such bold promises, and they've put out some of the trailers I see that say in-game footage. There is not a way in hell that they'll be able to put that off. I mean, like I said, Sandbox can't currently open a 3x3 estate for their alpha, but then you've got trailers of like the most hyper realistic like graphics, and it doesn't compute to me. Like you cannot have it. The server just won't handle that processing power. So I think in a couple of years, a lot of these extremely, sexy looking projects will just be delays after delays because the tech hasn't caught up to their promises yet. So yeah, I think it's always followed the builders really. We're in a great position. And one of our main selling points is the fact that we have something extremely rare in crypto, which is that we can be flexible, because we aren't a gaming token. We're not a metaverse token. We're not DeFi, but we are all free. We're a layer 2 metaverse in that we're built on top of and encompass everything. And the key part of that is it gives us the ability to be flexible, which is so rare in crypto. Decentraland and Mana doesn't have a function outside of Decentraland. Sand doesn't have a function outside of Sandbox. We can follow trends. So the next best metaverse we can add in an instant. As long as it's on our chain, we can get the contract written up, audited within a couple of weeks.
Wow.
So we have the ability to follow what is hot. And we saw that with, for example, Starlink. They only launched within 4 weeks before we did. But I saw how popular they were. So I said to the devs, let's add a Star Pool. And we did, and it's our most popular one with 3% of their total supply, and we own about 18% of their metaverse assets. The reason the yield is low is because of how much has been put into the pool. I'll be interested to see where the Ape yield is now.
I just checked. I did a little sneak peek. It looks like it's down to 1.3 million.
Oh no, only 13,000.
Wow.
What's that? Returns for ants.
Wow. So it went from 1.6 million to 13,000. So it looks like a lot of people were staking their Ape. Is there a way for us to see, or is that on the back end for you guys to see how much actual Ape is into this pool?
Let's see, let me go in. I might be able to see if I've got the contracts, and then I can look into them. Let me go into my dev chat and get it up. It should be, I should be able to get it fairly easily.
And real quick, while we're doing that, if you guys are tuning in today, do me a favor and smash that like button. It helps with the YouTube algorithm, and it brings in more people to learn more about the vEmpire project. We appreciate you guys for tuning in with us today to learn more about this fascinating project. But yeah, you guys have $15 million locked in your platform. Is that correct?
Yeah. So that encompasses... I'm not sure if that's just ERC chain, or whether that counts separately. I think it crosses both of them. If you can connect onto Smart Chain, it should also have the sort of the same amount. But yeah, you can see how the DAO is split. Unfortunately, I'm going to end up getting distracted. I can't find the
no worries.
But
well, no worries about that.
Be able to follow it anyway, sort of as it drops down. But yeah, I mean, going back to sort of the metaverses and the builds, yeah, the assets that we were able to pick up because of how early we were is just phenomenal. In fact, in our January quarterly report that we published, our assets, if you measure them by the very lowest floor price, were worth 22 million. And
wow,
2 weeks ago, our market cap was 8 million. So we were trading at a 200% discount to just the assets we have, and a 100% discount to the total value that we have locked onto the platform. So, my background before, I was a derivatives trader in the stock market, and then wealth manager, then in VC. And, you know, in traditional markets, when you're investing into something, you know, a stock or a property portfolio, you look for the market incorrectly pricing something. And when it does, you know whether to buy or sell it based on if you think the market is under or overpricing it. So right now, we, in my opinion, not financial advice, are extremely undervalued market. And our measurement is, this is what frustrates me as well, because, you know, there's tokens that are worth billions, which have nothing. It's just code. That's all it is. And that's not anything against them, but it's frustrating when, you know, we have actually, if an auditing company sort of came into most crypto protocols, that they'd value it at zero because it's just code. Obviously, you know, value isn't that. But if an auditing company came to us, then they would actually be able to tot it up and tell people what the value is, because we actually buy and own assets. But because crypto isn't a mature market, it leads to these opportunities where you can sort of take advantage of the market's incorrect pricing. Because my old VC that I worked at, we were sort of a boring VC, an asset-backed investor. So we didn't look for like Google, tech, and, you know, Apple. We bought pubs, hotels, gyms, care homes, anything with an actual property that we could take charge of should the underlying trading go wrong. And what that meant is that in a property fund, you have the fund price, and then you have the NAV price, and the NAV is the net asset value. And when you have market shocks like COVID or Brexit in the UK, you find the fund price drops significantly below the net asset value because it's controlled by humans, you know, and they panic. And that's the problem. And they have to gate to withdrawals because they can't just fire sell assets to pay back the redemptions just because it drops below. But in our point of view, there isn't any of that. So you can take advantage of a token price that doesn't reflect the net asset value of us as the protocol.
Yeah, and I think it works both ways, but I'm seeing that in the space, man. Like I said, I cover a lot of tokens in the community, meme coin, altcoin space, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's just built purely off hype. Like there's tokens that have reached 500 million, $1 billion market caps. And it's like, what do they have? You know, it's like, it's strictly just a name, something that's brandable, something that's memeable, and they catch storm. But obviously it's like, I think in the end, it will kind of switch up, and the tokens and projects that have built something legit like will win. But you said you have $20 million in assets at the floor, right? That's at the floor. Is there any way to view that? Is that public, or is that just kind of like what you guys have collected and found on the back end?
So we published a quarterly report, which is on the website. It's just at the very top. So that has everything that we own in it up until when we published it on the 12th of January, I believe. So the next one will come out. We'll better start working on that. Actually, it's the end of March now, isn't it?
Yeah, today's the last day.
I've got to put that back together. Oh, well,
and real quick, I like the fact that you guys are running this like an actual business. Like you guys are running this like legit, like quarterly earnings, quarterly reports, like very, very professional. Because it's like I said, there's a lot of tokens out there. It's like, I don't even know if they have a website or a white paper, and you are actually running this like a legit business. So tip of the cap to you for that.
Yeah, it's I think transparency is the way to go. I mean, as well as the quarterly reports, all of our assets are held and viewable. The NFTs on OpenSea. If you just type in vEmpire DAO, you can bring up our account, and it shows everything that we've bought. It'd be just OpenSea. .io/vEmpire DAO or something. But
does this sit right here?
That's our collection. If you click on that, you might be able to use it to go through, because if you look at one of the listings, and then it will have us as the owner.
Created by?
Yeah, that's it. So if you click on that, that will have everything. There you go. You can get some merch.
Nice. Is that actual merch or NFT merch?
No, it's both. So you'll get the NFT, and you'll get the actual one delivered as well. So we got t-shirts. I think we got jumpers on there as well.
It's sick.
just
I
like
like these. The logo is simple too, and I like wearing black, so I might have to grab one of these and rock it out here in California.
Yeah, 100%. I think, yeah, it's the thing is, I think at one point when ETH dropped all the way down to like $2,000 and they're priced in ETH, I think we were actually selling them at a loss. But luckily, yeah, people weren't buying anything back then, let alone NFT t-shirt. Oh, there you go. There's the jumpers.
Let's see. I didn't mean to click that. Let's go back. There it is. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there's the jumper.
Sweatshirts, love it. Is that what they call sweatshirts in England? Jumpers?
Yeah, that's what we call them. Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I was like, yeah. I'm like, sweatshirts? So do you have, so are these are mostly your guys' NFTs, it looks like. Do you guys have like the assets on here as well? Or do we just keep going
everything is on there. If you go onto the left, you should be able to filter it and you can get rid of us because, yeah, obviously,
you have a lot.
Got a lot of our own NFTs. Oh, it's because you were on the created tab.
That's right.
Yeah. So we got like some Falcon 9 metacubes there.
Yep.
And then what's that we got there? The Ape Harbor Yachts, another one there. 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗘𝗧, which is Society of Derivative Apes. And I picked up the first cult DAO mask, Invictus, which is
really
a lot now. But I don't know if I want to sell that.
Are these these are actual Bored Ape Yacht Club mutants and kennels?
Mm-hmm. So we picked up that Bored Ape right there is one of the top 250 rarest apes and the lowest equivalent floor price for a 4-trait ape. So that's, yeah, 4 traits are known to be desirable. I think that there isn't a single 4-trait outside the top 600 rarity, but this one also has a rare mouth and rare zombie eyes. So there is no doubt in my mind that that will sell for 300 ETH, and that will be a 240 ETH profit for the Ethereum strategy.
Wow.
So I'm going to have to be super, super quick. When that goes, we need to make sure that we know straight away, because otherwise we're going to get tons of people staking their ETH to try and get the redistribution. But yeah, you know, that ape, I will be so sad if it gets bought, but also obviously very, very happy. Because yeah, that one was a bargain looking back.
When did you get it? When did you buy it?
Got to be early October.
Early October.
Right now, I think so I picked that up for 62.5 ETH, which at that point was like a good deal above the floor price. But it's a very good and very rare ape. And picked up for maybe 63.5 when the floor price was 40. Now the floor price of just Bored Apes, like the worst Bored Apes, is over 100 ETH.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, dude, this is a huge buy. You're in rare company. Let's talk about these real quick, the NFTs, because like it's something that I'm in. You and I both. I own 2 mutants and a kennel. So I bought them a while ago. So and I'm still holding them. And like the floor is at 22 ETH floor right now for the mutants. The ape floor is around 110 ETH. I tweeted out earlier today, like just about 10 minutes ago. I had it scheduled, and I said that the mutants are pretty undervalued in my opinion. What do you think about that? What do you think about that comment right there? That mutants are extremely undervalued, sitting at a 22 ETH floor, and you're seeing what's happening with Bored Ape Yacht Clubs at 110 ETH floor.
Yeah, I'd agree in the fact that they don't seem to be separating mutants and Bored Apes. That doesn't seem to be any of their intention in terms of any of their sort of features. For example, they're not making the distinction. And I don't believe that they will now because it'd be too late and there'd be too much of an uproar. So I think that in terms of the actual utility of the future sort of mutants, this was another reason it was an absolute steal for the 4-trait Bored Ape. The person I bought it off hadn't minted the M2 mutant version that you were just on. That is the same one. So that's the same 4-trait Bored Ape in the mutant version.
Yep. I was going to say it looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
What does that process look like for people that don't know? It's like you have your ape. Did you have to buy the serum, or do all the apes automatically mutate into a second one? Like walk people through that process and how you got this mutant.
So I believe, because I didn't hold the I didn't hold Bored Apes when the original mutant serum came out. So I believe that everybody who held a Bored Ape got a M1 mutant serum. So there's 3 different levels. There's M1, M2, and then there's I don't know what it's called. I don't think it's called M3. But if you look on like rarity tools, for example, on the top rarest mutants, it's the green ones and that look absolutely mental. But yeah, M2 serums you had to buy. So we bought our M2 serum for 6.99 ETH. And then with that, we just minted the Ape. So that mutant only cost us just under 7 ETH because we just had to buy the serum because, yeah, the previous owner hadn't minted it.
So you're already up massive because the floor's, you know, 22 ETH. So there's already a 15 ETH profit right there if you wanted to sell it. And obviously it's like I said, I just tweeted that out that, you know, these things are highly undervalued in my personal opinion. And I think they're going to keep going up because realistically, you look at the market, it's like not many people can afford Bored Apes. You know, shout out to you for having one, but like maybe some people can afford a mutant, right? So I think it is going to drive the price up. And there's the green ones that you talked about. It is absolutely mental. These things are ridiculous, man.
Yeah, well, the serum, when I looked, like the floor price on the serum, it was like something like 1,000 ETH, and that's on the serum just when you take them. So they're like so exclusive. But yeah, I mean, again, with vEmpire, the benefits is that we are giving people access. So our Ethereum strategy stakers, they own that ape. When we sell it, we're distributing 80% of the profits back to them. And most of the people, if not all the people in that strategy, won't or haven't been able to afford them themselves. But we give them access to the same, you know, when Bored Apes go on a bull run, you know, Vemp benefits from that. And that's not just the Ethereum stakers, because everybody who stakes their Vemp into our DAO gets 10 to 20% of the profits from every single strategy. So if Mana does well, Vemp does well. If Sand does well, if we sell an ape, all of it is used. And the cleverest part is that all of these strategies, the profits that they earn are in the metaverse token or Ethereum, for example. So when we sell our Bored Ape, and if it goes for, you know, even 100 ETH profit, we will then be using 20 ETH of that to buy them back and send it to the DAO. So every single pool works as auto buybacks of Vemp. I'm very bullish on kennels because they're sort of the opposite from the mutants in that they aren't given the same level of utility as sort of the mutants and the Bored Apes have, but there's less supply, significantly less than mutants. So it depends on what people are valuing them at. But yeah, that's again, I think that's one of the top 250 rarest.
It looks rare.
Yeah, it's got a bit too many features, but I think that the fur I think is like Mega Deathbot, which is like 3rd rarest. The rainbow teeth are rare. The toilet paper dispenser is rare. But yeah, I think that's in at least the top 500 of rarest of the Bored Ape Kennel Clubs.
This thing is sick.
It's a good one. Yeah, I'm not sure I like the banana. That's the only point. But you know.
I think he would look better without the banana, but it's like it makes it. The teeth are the best part. I think the teeth are sick. The furs is dope. The boots. I have like a top 750 rare kennel that I love. It's wild, dude. It's wild how much these things are going for. But you have a solid list. I mean, your mutant is incredible. First off, you have a Bored Ape. You're in like the most exclusive pack, I guess, if you will, like this exclusive club in the crypto space. It's like this is the hottest NFT to own in the crypto market. You also have a mutant. You also have a Bored Ape Kennel Club. So like your investment strategy, you guys are doing very, very well for yourself and your company and your holders.
Yeah, we like to think so. I mean, like I say, all of those were bought for extremely good prices for what they were. You know, one was minted just from buying the serum. We sold another one of ours. We did have another mutant. We sold that for 20 ETH and bought it for 7. This was a while ago when obviously the floor was a lot lower. But yeah, we give people access to all of those. We also allow users rather than having to decide, which NFT do I buy? Because it's the blue chips that are the ones that seem to be, going up
Yeah.
consistently. It's a big risk with new mints now. But people don't need to decide which blue chip can I afford, which piece of land can I afford, because by buying and owning VEMP and staking it, you get access to all of our NFTs, all of our metaverse lands, all of the profits from all of those get sent to you.
And is that just through staking? Just for people that might just be joining us, I know we covered a little bit. Is that just through staking? So I buy my VEMP, I stake it on your platform, and just walk through, because staking is kind of a new thing for people. Like, how do we get a share of the business? How do we get a share of everything that you have already going if we own VEMP and stake it on your platform?
Yeah, so if you buy VEMP, either on the exchanges that we're on, centralized is Gate.io,
Nice.
BitX, MEXC, Bitmart, I think, BitTrue, like there's another 5 or so. So plenty of places. So then you can transfer it off the exchange or buy it through Uniswap or even PancakeSwap. So we're cross-chain as well. So for those who aren't buying a large amount but still want to get exposure, you can buy on PancakeSwap and stake into our BSC DAO. So you can get access to everything, no matter what chain you're on. So we send profits proportionally, which is why you see on the front page of the staking app, we have the DAO dominance, which measures the percentage in BSC versus ETH, because all of the ETH profits will go proportionally to BSC and vice versa from the BNB pool. So DAO chain dominance at the bottom there. So effectively, once you buy it on PancakeSwap or you buy it on Uniswap or transfer it out, then you can stake it onto and into the DAO, which is on the Stake Vent page. That also allows you to vote and submit proposals as well. The reason why it's called DDAO and not just DAO or DAO, or I never know how I should pronounce it with 2 Ds, but essentially it's one vote per wallet rather than being weighted on token share, because it means that, I can't outvote my community, even though I will probably have significantly more tokens than our developers. So it means that as long as somebody owns over, I think $5,000 worth of VEMP at the moment, then they can vote. The only reason it's not 0 is because bots obviously are a problem, and we need to counteract them. But it just means that if we screw up, we can be held accountable because we can't just sway the vote in our favor because we've got more tokens than you. So that's why we wanted to do a democratic DAO.
Wow, I like that. I was wondering that because this is the first DDAO that I've ever seen. I think it's probably good to call it DDAO. Most are DAOs, so it's not based off of how many tokens you hold. It's just 1-to-1 votes as long as you hold over $5,000 worth of tokens.
Yeah, exactly. So it just means that I think there was a time, if I remember, a couple of years ago, Uniswap banned, obviously Uniswap as a decentralized exchange, like banned a token from trading. And obviously, even if the token is a scam, that isn't decentralized. Like if you can ban someone, that is the exact reason why we have a decentralized exchange, is because, if there is a hack of a centralized exchange or the centralized exchange closes to withdrawals, then you can't get your money. So the point of a DEX is to make sure that you can always buy and sell whatever you want with no restrictions, even if that means you get scammed, because that is what decentralization is. It's no laws or control. And I think Uniswap banned a token from trading on the DEX, and the community went mad about it. A lot of people to this day will use like a sushi swap instead because of this incident. And there was a sort of a will they, won't they, of will they oust the CEO because of what he did. But even though they tried, they couldn't outvote all the VCs and everyone who'd invested because they held the lion's share of the tokens. And in that situation, there isn't the accountability because it's like fighting with one arm behind your back. You've got the sort of many who want to, get rid of him, but it's just the few who hold the most tokens and really control the vote.
That's insane. And so, I mean, have they stopped doing that? Because obviously there's a ton of scams that happen on BSC. There's tons of scams that happen on Uniswap, but it's as bad as it is, it's part of the decentralization factor of cryptocurrency. Have they stopped doing that after that big incident?
I don't think they've done it again. No,
I don't think they would. Yeah.
Was fairly substantial. At least I haven't heard anything since, but it was enough to put a lot of people off. To this day, there's some DeFi protocols that just don't list on Uniswap.
Yeah, no, I think it's look, it's something you have to go through growing pains, and that's something that Uniswap obviously encounter. But I want to talk to you about the market. So right now, as a lot of us know, it's like, look, the blue chips are performing pretty well. We see the rise of the community tokens. You know, metaverse tokens are in their own ballpark right now. 2022, not many people are in the metaverse. Not many people are investing in the metaverse. You know, you're starting to hear people buy lands in Sandbox. Like you mentioned, though, they're just buying land, selling it and flipping it, or buying it and maybe thinking about building it out later. So I want to talk to you about the roadmap of this. Let's just say 5 years time. In 5 years time, where do you see metaverse tokens, and where do you see the overall mainstream effect, like this metaverse and tokens and building out lands and living in lands and, you know, having celebrations and parties in these different metaverse lands going? Like, where do you see this going in 5 years?
I mean, I do believe, you know, everyone always uses it as an example, but Ready Player One, where you do have an actual virtual space where you can do whatever you want. That is how I see the metaverse in the future. And a lot of people it's very easy to just disregard it because, you know, you can never comprehend the future when you see it. It just doesn't make sense to you. It's just the same with like, you know, pretty much everyone over the age of 40 in Bitcoin and they're just all bored apes. I mean, 99% of the population just don't understand why that picture of a monkey is worth so much. So
Crazy.
That is, you know, nobody can comprehend it when they actually see it. But in the future, you know, the technological advancements that we have, like, got to remember, like, not everybody owned a car in like 30 years ago. It's not a long time at all. To have that sort of, and I think in the 1920s, people were still like going around in horses and carts. That's 100 years in the grand scopes of like the human race. That is nothing.
Crazy.
The advancements. So I think 5 years time, the metaverse can and will look very much sort of like you see in Ready Player One. And that comes with like sometimes maybe it's because I'm like a natural pessimist. I always look for the worst outcome, therefore I can prepare for it. But I think that there's going to be like a lot of like hedonistic, just pleasure driven, dodgy stuff that goes on. Like, you know, humans naturally are just drawn to that sort of thing. And if you can create virtual reality of however you want it, there's some right weirdos out there.
Yeah.
So I do see a world where you know, people can create a reality that for them is perfect. And I always wonder, what does that look like for, you know, human race? If you can create something that's so perfect that it's better than your actual reality, then what will that look like for productivity? You know, how can you get it to work?
It's not good. It's like, look, that's the thing. It's like, there's a lot of people out there that are unhappy with their lives, that are, you know, overweight, and, you know, they hate going to work. And if they can be some sort of a badass character in this metaverse, like, they're going to choose that. And it's like, I don't know if those thoughts are planted after I watched Ready Player One, but it's like, yeah, man, like, life is tough out here. If you can have a virtual world where you're the king and you got all the money in the world and all the fame, it's like, you're going to go into that life, especially if like we can make it look legit. Like Ready Player One, you put on the goggles and like you were in that world, you know, it was the same world as like it is here. It was better. So I think it's something that's going to be interesting. Like there's 7 billion people. We obviously see how much people love video games. Like if you can actually be fully immersed and have your own character and have, you know, cool things going on in the metaverse, I think a lot of people are going to be taking over and going there. Now, for people that are interested in buying land, obviously never financial advice, but just your personal opinion. And honestly, I'm actually interested because I don't own any land. What would you recommend? Like, what's a good strategy? Like, where should I look? What metaverse should I look for? Should I look for certain plots of land? Should I just get some? Like, what would be your beginner strategy just to get in, just to get started in the actual metaverse lands part of the crypto space?
Well, like all these things, it vary depending on what your intentions are. I mean, if it's looking for early gems, which obviously most people will want to hear that
Yeah.
rather than what I would buy and develop. Like nobody gives a shit about that, do they? Like,
Yeah.
people just want, what can I buy early and sell extremely high? One thing I'd say to look at is Treeverse. So the floor has been hit by that, and it has dropped. I think Treeverse, last I looked, it was around like 0.6, 0.7. I'm not sure where it is right now, but that came out ages ago, and that's why the floor has dropped. And the reason I'm very bullish on Treeverse is because we do investment spotlights every twice a week, and we reach out to the protocols we invest in, and we say to them, can we oh, is it 1.3 now? Oh, fair enough.
This is the plots. They have 3 different ones. Is this what we're looking at? The characters, the plots,
yeah,
and the trees.
It's the plots. Yeah, it's the because those are the founding plots. Yeah, founders plot. So yeah, even at 1.3, I think they're fairly priced. Yeah, as I say, the reason I was so bullish is that we reach out to the protocols we invest in to do, we do investment spotlights on them, where we'll talk about why we invested, what's coming up, that sort of thing. And I think they were one of the only ones who said, we aren't out soon enough yet, so let's delay it and do it when we're closer. And that for me is a good sign. If they say no thanks, we're still building, because it means that they're not just looking to be promoted, because not acting like Billy Big Bollocks, but we got a fair following, like that we can publicize them to, like 68K on Twitter, over 10,000 Telegram, Discord as well. But they said, no, thanks. We'll do it later on. We're still building. And that's really bullish to me, because it means that they're not just in it for the money, which is the main thing in this. If they're just wanting to develop, because if they were just after hype, they would have said, yes, please. Straight away. They didn't. So yeah, Treeverse, very bullish on them. And Swampverse, mainly think they'll do well. Firstly, they are really good, for one, but Swampverse, you can stake the toads for Krokens, which is this token which hasn't yet launched. And these are a bit more affordable, but I just love it. And I think they'll do well because it just looks like tons of Pepes. I think we've got one of the joint rarest Swampverse. Can't remember what they're called. Basically, they've got like super cool is a category. So they've got like nice glasses. That's like, the category is super cool. And we've got one of the lower trait ones, but yeah, joint highest that I managed to pick up, which
These things are sick. I like
they're
these.
really cool, aren't they? Like, it's one of those projects that I really like. There's stuff that like I'll buy because I think it will do well, but there's other stuff that I just think, oh, that is actually a cool project. Yeah, Swampverse. Yeah, and the Discord is really good as well. But yeah, if you go down to I think, if you scroll down on the left hand thing, the filter there, coolness. Yeah, and then you've got super cool.
Wow.
Which is just glasses. That's all it is.
I like that. Look at these things.
You should look at weapons. I think the #1 rarest weapon is a dildo.
Where's weapons? Skin, mouth, head, hands, flies, eyes.
It might be hands. Oh, it might be hands. But most of them are weapons. But yeah, if you scroll to the bottom, I think the rarest one is called. It's called some
lethal weapon.
Oh, lethal weapon, and it's just a dick.
No items. They might not have it with
there's no super cool ones with lethal weapons.
Yeah.
Get rid of the super cool. There you go.
Look at that. It's got a dick. Oh my God. These things are so funny, man.
Yeah. And then if you go on like the cloaks, they've got like awesome like cloaks. I think one of them's called like an alien cloak. It's like green and black.
Yep.
And that's one of the rarer ones. And I've got
nice.
That's one. I like that one.
I like these things.
Yeah, they're really good. Definitely worth. And yeah, they're like 0.2, 0.3 ETH. Again, I think can't remember if we've reached out to these guys, but we definitely will after this. Say, I talked about you. Let's have another chat. Give you some floor price NFTs.
Absolutely, dude. These things
I
are.
think I've got more than 20 of these, maybe even 25. I think I'm definitely in the top 10 holders, and I've staked them all onto their website, which gives me tokens, which is their upcoming token for once they launch the actual metaverse. They've got like a burn functionality where you can like burn 2 toads and you get a swamp creature. I'm not sure if the swamp creatures are out yet, but yeah, they got a good roadmap and a really strong community. So definitely want to look at.
Oh yeah, so this in Treeverse as well. I'm going to be looking into those. Thanks for putting us on that game. Now, I want to talk too about your guys' success because you just launched a couple of months ago. Let's talk about maybe the highlights, maybe some of the main things that have happened while you guys have been launched. Some key wins you've had, some learning experiences, maybe some things that we can expect going forward.
Yeah, well, I mean, getting up to the peak of where we did, the top of the bull market, I think we got to 550 million fully diluted value, so just over $500 million, which was amazing. But I mean, where we are now compared to then in terms of development and what we have to offer, the good thing about us is that even though our price might vary, we are always purchasing assets because people are always staking their tokens with us and we're always putting them to work. So even though our token price might fluctuate, our actual asset purchases are always continuing and always growing. So even though, we aren't, I think we're still like 5x away from our all-time high, we are the position we're actually in if you're valuing it as a company and not by sort of a token, is much better than it was. And it will continue to be that way. So I'd say, yeah, some of the highlights of the first month or so was, getting our first tier 1 exchange listing with Gate, and then we got Bittrex after that. Then listing on Shiba Swap, which was really, really good and pretty fascinating, the process and sort of learning about that. And then, yeah, just buying more assets, getting our development out, building as well, getting and showcasing our assets in Decentraland and our assets in the sandbox as well, because being able to actually show people that, we're not just talk, we actually have these assets, we build these assets and they're better than everyone else's.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. Because, yeah, the detail that we are able to sort of produce in Decentraland, I'm going to see if I can get the link, is just, nowhere near. Here we are. I've been able to get it as well. Just because I don't want to mess up the stream, I'll send you the link. You're more familiar than me.
Yeah,
there
no
we go.
problem. We'll pull that up.
That's our amphitheater in Decentraland. So this is sort of our pièce de résistance. Our, number one. It's what I mentioned and what you mentioned about with the backstage area. So you can tell by, the quality of the trees just surrounding it and the, park benches and billboards that, what we actually are able to produce and put into these lands.
Wow.
And sort of the stenciling and the open areas. And yeah, anyone who has jumped into Decentraland as well and looked at other buildings there, they'll, know full well that this is on a completely different scale. And yeah, it's not just landscape. We code private areas, and you can only enter those if you have, some of them are Decentraland NFT staff passes for us to actually sort of utilize, or owning our NFTs, owning our token will detect and let you into areas that other people can't access.
Wow.
So yeah, we're very much ahead of the game. And yeah, like I say, we've got another 2 or 3 builds similar to this, same detail, but that's, yeah, our biggest, and we're hoping to start doing like concerts to obviously an obvious venue for that sort of thing. So yeah, hoping to get that working. And that's the good thing as well, because whenever we're buying and utilizing and trying to make profits in all these metaverses, we want to make sure that we only sell lands and assets and flip them as a last resort. We would very much prefer to make our money from, rental income, playing games, events, because we want to be able to keep hold of the assets, so that they will appreciate in value and we can still provide returns to stakers in the meantime. So, this is our flagship in Decentraland.
Yeah, the detail is incredible. Like this thing is like it's insane, and I will gladly be joining for a party and a concert. And the fact that you can like sector it off and have a VIP backstage it just shows where this is going. Now, is this what it will look like? I mean, like if I have my Oculus on and I go into this is the detail? Like this is how good it looks?
Yeah, this is viewed. We filmed this from within Decentraland, so this isn't just a model. This is actually right now. You can jump in to Decentraland, go to the parcels, -94 to -98, and you can jump in right now, and you can go and run around. All there.
Look how real it looks, man. Like look at the tile. The tile literally looks like it's like hardware tile floor, like at a house. Like it's so detailed.
I mean, these were reason why is that we rather than I always believe that you should use specialists where you have them. So we, rather than trying to build it ourselves or giving it to a metaverse architect, because what is a metaverse architect? They've been doing their job for like a year.
Yeah.
It's just it's so new. So we use real world architects, because whenever you have and are building or pitching to build something, you need to build it in virtual reality. So architects are actually very, very good and already build in virtual reality. It's just that they do it to show models to their clients. So basically we use their process of, as if they were going to build the actual amphitheater, but then we just don't go to that stage and we just have the model and then we plop it in and then code in the backstage and everything. And then that's why it's so much better detailed, because we're not trying to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, you can't. You just got to have somebody do it for you. And I see a comment here. Shout out to Jeff. Welcome to the show, Jeff Crypto. But Sage put a good comment. And I've actually heard you guys being coined as this. I want to know your thoughts on it. But Sage said, vEmpire is the grayscale of metaverse, without a doubt, the largest decentralized metaverse investment organization in the world. Would you consider yourself a grayscale of the metaverse or something along those lines?
Along the lines, but the key point is decentralized. I think that the analogy is spot on in terms of being essentially a real estate investment manager of metaverse and gaming. I think that in terms of that sector, I say sector, pretty much it's just us, and then the centralized version is Republic Realm or Every Realm. I think they got in trouble recently because they did like this NFT mint. And for like 4 weeks, they put off the reveal. And then when it got revealed, it was just like a computer, but facing backwards. And everyone just went mad because they were just waiting for so long. But yeah, we try and do everything and democratize it. We were never backed by, much VC capital at all. Whereas some of these people, they raise and sell so many tokens to VCs just to have the stable coins in order to sort of market and do everything like that. I think we raised like sub 500,000 in VC money, which obviously it's a lot of money, but it's not in crypto whatsoever. We only have sub 3% of our token, in fact a lot less now, because they're out owned privately. So our community own like 98% of vEmpire, like our community and us. It's all held within our hands and under our control, which means that we don't have the same sell pressure anymore, because a lot of that has ended. Because some of our investors, their locks are over now, and we have very little to begin with. So there's a lot more community control.
I love that. It's I hear people taking millions and millions of dollars in VC. So 500,000, although it sounds like a lot when you first hear it, it's really not that much in crypto. Now, I know we're approaching the 1 hour mark, but I want to ask you about the vEmpire, the beginning. the trading card game before we wrap it up. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what people can expect from the trading card game?
Yeah, 100%. Right now, we have our whitelist competition. The trading card game we've always had, but we've got a NFT collection which we half stealth launched the other week just for our existing vEMP stakers. We were selling the plebeian council. So pleb is a insult nowadays, but in Latin it actually means plebeian, common people. Which is why people call people plebs, because it's like a common. So the plebeian council was actually the sort of like the People's Assembly in Rome, which is why we've had that. And that owners of those will get 25% of the revenue from vEmpire at the beginning, which is our trading card game. People find it a bit odd when, you know, we've just been talking about our metaverse token staking platform, and then we got a trading card game as well. It's a bit odd, but the reason being is that once all of these metaverses open up, what do you have in the real world that links together nations and countries? You have World Cup, Olympics, it's always some sort of sport or competition which brings all these worlds together. So the hope is that we will be hosting tournaments in Sandbox, Starlink, Decentraland, Treeverse, Swampverse even.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, so that is the reason for having the trading card game. So it's on BSC as well. So you connect up, and then there's a button on the top left which has swap vEMP for XS vEMP. So that is the battle token which allows you to sort of play the game. So again, it all goes back to multi-level staking and compounding interest. So this is just another way for people to utilize the vEMP that they're earning. So the whole protocol functions to keep vEMP within the ecosystem, because the loops of compounding, the only time that they can ever be stopped is if somebody sells their vEMP. Because after they sell it, they can't compound it. So every incentive is there to keep vEMP just within the platform. So the vEMP yield you can stake into the DAO, get more vEMP yield that you can play the game with. The metaverse tokens you stake, you get vEMP yield, you compound that, you get metaverse token yield, you put that back in, you get vEMP and metaverse again, you recompound all of those. So everything functions to keep tokens on the platform. And yeah, our maxis are our maxis. We have some very strong community members. Some of them popped up on the chat already. But yeah, and that's always really something that we want to focus on, sort of building out and having that core community. We try and partner and merge communities where we can, because I think that's really, really important to sort of have that reach out where, it's the reason we do these spotlights where we highlight our investments, because, at the end of the day, some people just, crypto is so competitive sometimes. And I just don't know why. It's like, why can't people coexist? I guess people think like, if your money is invested in this token, you can't possibly invest in this token. So you need to sell that one to get this one. I just think the attitude is just, it's just too much. Like, people just like to attack each other, don't they? To try and get, well, yeah, some places it's worse than others, but yeah, try and collaborate where we can, because at the end of the day, if you can foster an ecosystem where everyone's helping everyone, then you're only going to sort of get to your end goal quicker.
Yeah, absolutely. And what are your thoughts on that, man? Because it's like the crypto space is notoriously like, it's toxic. I get it though. It's like there's a lot of money being involved, and it's like people do view that. Like, let's say my money is in one token, and then other people, start a new token and they start going to that. They're taking money out of your pocket. They're taking money out of the project. I think it's because money's involved. I really do. I think it's because money's involved. And, one thing is like these community members, they kind of become like they're families, and like if people attack your project, like not only are they hurting the project, but they're hurting innocent investors' bags, like their money. So I think it's all due to the fact that there's money involved, and it's personal. It's people's hard-earned money that could go up or down. But why do you think that, crypto has become such a toxic place?
Yeah, I mean, some of the there's two sides of the coin really, because I've faced this when our token was going down. As I say, we've had a good pickup, but like up until when we were on the way down, like some of the abuse that I got online, like death threats, like accused of being like a rug. One word I cannot stand, it's flown around so flippantly, is if a token goes down, you're a soft drug. Like, there's just like, it doesn't matter. You cannot go down, you're a soft drug. That is the excuse of a prolonged down period, even if you got a war in Ukraine. Like, people will just like say these things. But yeah, I mean, up until that point, we were getting death threats. And the thing is, it's like when 𝗪𝗓𝗡𝗡𝗘𝗖𝗧 from, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, from sort of Phantom and 𝗪𝗓𝗡, he left. And the reason why is because he just got sick of it. But if you look at like protocols where you know, you don't have a figurehead, it's all community run, there's nobody there who gets the abuse because everybody is in charge. But where you have a figurehead that does dox themselves and show their face, you are given, even if you're trying to make a DAO or a democratic DAO, which in its sense is a decentralized autonomous organization, it should function without anybody. But because you're doxed, you're seen as sort of the leader. Well, and there is a point, because obviously, you know, someone needs to steer it and get it up to the point where it can be fully autonomous.
Yeah.
But sometimes doxing yourself opens you up to much, much more abuse. And then people get annoyed if people don't dox themselves. But the reason people aren't doing it is because they don't want to get just, you know, threats or given abuse every time it goes down. I mean, I'm sure you must get it. If you like interview a founder and their token goes down, you'll get abuse because they've gone down and they're getting abuse, and it'll come back on you. Like, that's the thing. It's just a cycle of negativity where everybody, the conspiracy theories that people come up with just is astounding sometimes, isn't it? Like, I get like, I got like, for example, we have a 21-year locked emission schedule. The reason we have that is so that inflation is very low, but we're still able to send them to the pools for rewards. And just like, people were jumping to this conclusion, like they were looking at this wallet on 𝗖𝗓𝗡𝗘𝗖𝗧, which holds like 600 million vEMP because it's locked for 21 years, and saying like this wallet is dumping tokens. And it's like, we take the tokens from that wallet and we send them to the staking pools to give you rewards. We're not dumping on it, we're sending it to you. Like, and it's just mental. Sometimes like people will like put two and two together and come to crazy conclusions. Yeah, it's mad, but it's definitely a big problem. I think that people can just not expect or not jump to, just ask a lot of the time. Go into the chat or DM the founder, because a lot of these things can just be settled with a simple question first, like, why is this happening? Why does it look like that? Wait for the answer. Okay, then I won't just jump into the chat and like accuse you of you know, like nuking the protocol.
And the thing is too, and sorry to jump in there, but it's like, look, there's 7 billion people on the planet, right? And there's going to be some ones that are a little bit loony, and those ones that are loony, unfortunately, in the crypto space, some of them have platforms, some of them have Twitter followers, and you know, have YouTube channels or whatever. So it's like they have platforms, and as soon as it gets out, it's like all it takes is a couple of the people to hear about it, and that, you know, you believe everything you see. You know, like you see something on Twitter and it's just like it has to be fact, right? You see it on Twitter, so people retweet it and share it, and that's just where, you know, that happens. And there's also FUD. Like, there's people that are paid to FUD projects and tear them down. So it's a wild space. It really is. And you know, I have respect for you for being fully doxxed and being the head of a company, because as you said, it's like, for me personally, I make YouTube videos. Like, I don't have a hand in any company. I don't run any crypto project, any NFT project. I report on the news, and the amount of times that I get, you know, threats and all this, you know, shade thrown my way for talking about a project is like insane. It's like, look, I'm just an investor and I report on things. So yeah, I can't even imagine what it's like to actually run the project and be fully doxxed. But I have respect for every developer that is fully doxxed and trying to do their best in this crypto space.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's it can be tough. I mean, well, obviously there is, if you do it correctly and it goes well, there is rewards. But yeah, I mean, there's plenty of dox founders who try and give it a go, it doesn't work out, and then it's even worse because their token obviously goes down because it hasn't worked out and they've shown their face. So at least I'm in the positive category where
Yeah.
it is going well and we are a good project. But yeah, I think, as I say, at present, sort of the undervaluation from all measurements, you know, official measurements, as well as from a protocol point of view, you know, we have some of the strongest utility in the space. We have some of the best assets in the space. The only thing that we haven't done a lot of, and we've been in an area where, you know, everyone thought metaverse is the next big thing, and it was for a while, wasn't it? You know, when Facebook rebranded, it went absolutely nuts. But then in the new year, and obviously with Russia and the situation there, you know, people weren't really thinking about the metaverse when, you know, you were like back into the Cold War and inflation is going to go mental. So that sort of steered the focus back towards the mega caps with Bitcoin and ETH, because they're the inflation hedges. So it sort of took a bit of steam out of the metaverse area. But as I say, the opportunity there is that you do have incorrect pricing that you can take advantage of as a user, because crypto goes in trends and people love to follow that trend, when really you should follow what's left behind, because that's the stuff that's being ignored by everybody else, and that's what you want to be looking for. But yeah, I think that once the crypto market matures and you do have like the same sort of analysts that cover the stock market covering crypto, you will have the more utility tokens actually outperform versus those that are just code and just have the stronger communities. But they are both important at the end of the day.
They are, yeah, and it's what's hot. It's what's hot right now, and obviously, it's like as Facebook keeps doing their metaverse thing, and other companies get into the metaverse, and like we're going to see these metaverse tokens pick up. I mean, we saw Decentraland and Sand, you know, go insane in 2021 at the end of 2021, and obviously we're expecting to see them do the same here as well. And Vemp is also up high on that list. So if anybody's interested in staking their tokens, go over to the Vemp website, the vEmpire website. You can stake your ETH, Mana, Sand, Starlink, AXS, and Vemp, and now ApeCoin for some incredible rewards. Let's see if we can see that ApeCoin staking now and see what the percentage is at. 13,412%, down to 300. Wow. So those people that were able to get in early at the 1,000,000% is enough, but it looks like a lot of money and a lot of ApeCoin has been staked, and if it's going down in such a quick fashion.
Is it 321?
Yeah, 321% right now.
And so it's not even 3,321. So yeah, someone's gone lumpy in that.
It was 1.6 million. 1.6 million at some point.
Tell you what, that was you, wasn't it? When the screen wasn't shared, that was you sticking yours in. That's what it's done it.
So what happened was, when I go like this, I was connecting the wall and I was in there staking all my ApeCoin.
That's it. Yeah, I think no, I could tell it hasn't, because still got the unlock wallet sign. But yeah, I mean, whilst it's there, take advantage, because as I say, the more money that goes into that, the lower the initial Vemp yield will be. But one thing that is key, so when we first launched with the protocol, the strategies were locked for the first 6 to 12 months so that we could build mature portfolios before people started, like I mentioned about how when you have the black swans, people sell, and then the assets, you don't want to have to fire sell them. So at first we had a 6 to 12 month lock, but now with all of our new pools like Ape, there is no lock. It's completely liquid in and out. And we are also adding liquidity back for AXS and for 𝗖𝗓 next month. So the majority of our pools will be completely liquid with no locks.
Wow. That's massive right there.
Get in while you can.
I think I'm gonna. I don't think I'm gonna. I know I'm gonna. We're going to right now, because I don't really see anywhere else that you can stake your ApeCoin yet. I think Nexo came out with something. I know Voyager offers like 2%, but 2% is, you know, it's measly. Like 2% a year? It's nothing.
Yeah, I think Nexo came out with something like I think it was like 12.5 or 15%, something like that. I can't remember if they were actually going to do anything with the ApeCoin, or whether it was just like for marketing, or whether they actually intended to use them or not. But yeah, I mean, our plan is to use those tokens staked and return profit back to the stakers. So yeah, hopefully we can be picking up some more bargains from like the other one. Don't know if I'll get that chance again. I think that ship has sailed for a 4 trade like that one.
Oh, the Bored Ape. Yeah, that's solid that you have the Bored Ape. That's incredible. And the Mutants, you guys are crushing it. Like, it's a project that I really like, and I like what you guys are doing. I think it's early for your guys' project. Like, I think and I hope that we're still connected and doing this in a couple of years, but I think in 3 years time or 2 years time, like when people start to realize the benefits of metaverse tokens, we're going to be having a different conversation. And I just think that you guys are doing very, very unique things. And it was a solid AMA today, and I appreciate you coming on. Was there anything else you wanted to cover before we wrap this one up?
I think we've managed to go through sort of the long part of it. We didn't get a chance to talk about the amazing tip I gave you a couple of weeks back, which has done 100x, but there we are.
Let's talk about that. We got to talk about that. So we have to talk about 𝗧𝗘𝗧𝗧, because what's rule number 1? You got to talk about 𝗧𝗘𝗧𝗧.
You got to talk about 𝗧𝗘𝗧𝗧. Exactly.
So 𝗧𝗘𝗧𝗧, you showed me this about 2 or 3 weeks back, maybe 2 weeks back, and I think the market cap was what, like 600,000, 500,000. It was very small. And now I'm going to pull it up today and see what it's at. But 𝗧𝗘𝗧𝗧 has been the talk of the town. First off, how did you find out about it, and what are your thoughts on 𝗧𝗘𝗧𝗧?
So I was, you know how, well, for those who don't or haven't heard about it, it is essentially obviously it's a DAO, but the DAO functions where 50 people, the top 50 people, where we're at 18. So still, I think it made a new all-time high today, but I mean, it's a nice looking chart, isn't it?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So the top 50 cult stakers are called the Guardians, and the Guardians can propose on the protocol for investment, for grants, for anything to send 13 ETH worth of cult to. So the founder, which there's a lot of speculation over who he is, contacted a few of us and basically gave us an allocation which is above the pre-sale price. The reason why was that what he didn't want was basically, because the protocol functions to just send money to a wallet that the Guardians pick. Obviously, if a bunch of like 50 people from an initial liquidity launch just hijacked it, then they'd just be able to send themselves money, which obviously isn't. So we were put in charge of making sure that didn't happen. So we became pre-appointed Guardians. So there was me, Justin Wu, David Hoffman, Owen from Gnosis, plenty of others as well. I'm not sure how many there were in the end. Not all of them are doxed. And so we basically, well, like I said, I shared it sort of round with a few people, and I think it really took off after there was like rumors of the mask spelling 𝗖𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓, which is in itself not necessarily meaning that, because since I've been part of sort of SHIB and seen the inner workings, like 𝗖𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓 as a term, it's sort of like saying I'm Spartacus. When everyone stands up, you're saying 𝗖𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓, as in like I believe in decentralization, 𝗖𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓, you are 𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓, etc. What I found, so at first I thought, okay, it's just that, and it's a clever bit of marketing. But then when the actual Shibarium account, at first they posted a quote, something about a mask, which is like, coincidence, but funny coincidence. But then they posted a Medium article which had a link through to a YouTube video, which was the exact same great dictator Charlie Chaplin speech, which 𝗧𝗘𝗧𝗧𝗧 has on its website. And that's just like, that doesn't happen twice, the same coincidence on masks and with that. So yeah, at first I wasn't sure. I thought that it's just 𝗖𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓, as in like, we believe in, decentralization like SHIB. But yeah, the Shibarium quote and then Medium article definitely got me thinking, oh, actually, maybe this actually could. But
Yeah.
I mean, the tokenomics of the thing are beautiful. The actual way the token functions, I tweeted about it today. I think I don't know if you can find it, but on their website or on the manifesto, hashtag read the 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗘𝗖𝗧 manifesto. But they've got the actual economic flow, and so 0.4% tax is taken on every transaction. So every buy and sell, every send to an exchange or off an exchange, and I think token economy. Yeah, so it's got a little thing here.
Sorry, go back.
So yeah, they transact it, and then that fills the treasury. So I think it's 15.5 Ethereum, and that is sent to the either investee protocol or the grant. And some people have, I've seen like, there's this like weird protocol. You know how people like shill on your tweets to try and get your attention. There's this protocol that seems to be purposely fudding, saying, oh, they have to sell cult, it's bad. But it's done so clever in that the protocol firstly doesn't sell cult. That's a lie. They send 13 ETH worth of cult to the investee protocol. That is the investment. And they want to get to the point where people pay for things in cult, because every 0.4% is funding the revolution. So that automatically fills. So all you need is volume to keep this going, and you can constantly invest into revolutionary ideas and projects that fulfill the criteria of helping decentralization. So there's no human interaction, which is so interesting. Bitcoin is the only sort of pure decentralized token I know. Even Ethereum, like in its current state, is, if the Ethereum Foundation went to shit and Vitalik died, like it would very, very heavily suffer, if not die. But this just constantly goes round. All it needs, which is why the first rule of cult is to talk about cult, is volume. That's all it needs. It doesn't need direction. Even if it's going down, it is fulfilling its purpose. And what I found so bullish, which is why I said that it isn't a bad thing that they are funding in cult, is that if the token price drops, then the 13 and ETH, which is sent, there's more cult in that. And that means the 2.5 that is burnt in every proposal, there's more being burnt every time it drops. So that supports the price. So that's what's so bullish, is that even when it goes down, more cult tokens are burnt, which will bring the price back up. But yeah, 2.5 ETH worth of cult is burnt on every proposal. And right now, I think they already got like 300 or more ETH in the actual treasury.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, the tokenomics, the reason I say it's beautiful is that it is like a work of art in that it's fully functioning and autonomous. Like it doesn't need anything. As long as people propose and people vote, it will fulfill its purpose. Up, down, sideways, as long as people talk about cult and there's volume, it's fulfilled. Like it can only sleep. It can't die. Like the worst that could happen is that people forget about it, but it will still be there and functioning. And the manifesto is intense, but I love it. I think it's so well written. And if you're into like philosophy or anything like that, yeah, it's definitely worth reading the Cult Manifesto. It's not that long. Yeah, I mean, I love the website as well. And I love the music.
Yep. I don't know if you can hear it right now. I have it playing in the background. I don't know if you can. I don't think the speakers are on through there, but I hear the speech going on in the background. But yeah, Cult DAO is fascinating. You can see a lot of the people that are part of the Cult family are all in here. They came in and somehow spammed the chat. You can see here, there's a ton of Cult DAO members in the chat.
Trust me, you should jump into their Telegram. It's like this is why I think it's going so mad, is because everybody is talking about cult, because that is its function. And there's a hell of a lot of decentralization maxis. Like I say, I shield this, and I have to be so careful, because whenever, especially if Vemp's going down and I talk about another token, people go mad. They say, why are you talking about, only talk about Vemp? As if like you can't comment on anything else because, you know, you're giving them limelight. So I had to be careful about sort of things, but you know, the reason I made a democratic DAO was purely for the reason that I didn't think that normal DAOs were decentralized. So there's a lot of decentralization maxis in Vemp. And also because of that, we partnered with a lot of decentralization maxi protocols too, like F9, who are part of the Shiba ecosystem, Falcon 9. So due to that, obviously, when I told them about cult, they all loved it. So they're all in that chat, and it's just super hyped, and they're just doing what the manifesto says. They're just talking about cult.
The first rule of cult. Talk about cult. It's a fascinating project, but yeah, I owe you a nice craft beer, or maybe even a new car, honestly, because you told me about this back when it was at 600,000, and yeah, it's been crazy to see how many people are catching on to cult and talking about cult. And the first rule is to talk about cult. So shout out to the cult DAO community. Do they have a name? Is it the cult DAO community? What do we call the members? Cult members? The cult?
I mean, they're part of the cult, right? They
part
are
of the cult.
Well, they are 𝗖𝗓𝗧𝗛. That's who they are.
They are 𝗖𝗓𝗧𝗛. It's very interesting there, that connection. A lot of people are speculating that this SHIB founder 𝗖𝗓𝗧𝗛 might be the founder of this. Speculation at this point. I'm actually trying to set up an AMA with the cult team. I had a gentleman that's a cult holder. He was on a Twitter space with me yesterday, and I told him, look, let's spread the word. Let's spread the awareness around cult. So we're going to possibly set that up here, but shout out to Donald for sharing it. I think he shared this link in the Telegram. The cult came in. The cult came in to the stream today. But Dom, what a great live stream. I think we touched on a ton regarding your fascinating project, regarding cult, regarding the Ape Coin Staking Pool. Congratulations on getting that live today. And congratulations to everybody that staked on the platform. A very exciting project. I'm going to continue to cover your guys' project and continue to show support, because I appreciate you as a friend in this space, and I've appreciated your community. I mean, they've showed nothing but love to me on my channel, whether it's on Twitter, YouTube, and I'm wishing you guys nothing but the best. And I do believe if you're looking at this project and watching this stream, it's March 31st, 2022. I think you're very, very early to vEmpire, as there's a lot of exciting things ahead, especially the space is going to take off, and you guys are going to be a leader and a pioneer in that space. Is what I believe. But I wanted to say thank you again for you coming on, to everybody that tuned into the chat tonight. Thank you guys so much. And Dom, I'll let you get the final word, whether to address the community or to address the new cult members that are now in the chat, because it's filled with them right now.
Yeah, I can imagine. Seems like yeah, any mention ever, it's just a deluge. But it's good. I mean, it's good to see that power is what drives it at the end of the day. And yeah, I mean, a good 2 or 3 of the cult admins were Vemp community members that I told about. I think Jeff is probably in the chat. Oh, 𝗪𝗧𝗪 Wanderer is a big Vemp maxi. And then you've got Carlton as well, one of the admins. He's in Vemp heavy. So yeah, no, I mean, it's really about thanking you know, our community members, and everyone who shows support, because at the end of the day, like I said, I am all about collaboration, and I will collaborate with anyone that will talk to us, and where there is a mutual benefit. So yeah, just everyone keep working together, and less of the toxicity. And yeah, we'll all be good.
Yep. Less toxicity, more love, more making money, more development, more unity. And rule number 1, don't forget it. Rule number 1, to talk about the cult DAO. Awesome, man. Well, that was a great stream. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, everybody that tuned in. Happy last day of the month. Go out there, get after it, make some things happen. I was live with the lead dev of vEmpire, my guy Dom. My name is Jake Hagan. If you haven't yet, smash that like button on your way out. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Dom, thanks so much. Great stream. vEmpire. That was a live AMA. We'll see you guys soon. Thank you guys so much. And